most politicians are going to get up here and talk about themselves. I'm going to talk about the district. The district is North Side, St. Bernard, all of Clifton, Walnut Hills, Evanston, O'Brienville, Hyde Park, Norwood, Oakley, Madisonville, Columbia Township, Silverton, and Amberley Village. I feel like I should win some kind of award for being able to name all the neighborhoods in this district.
East Walnut Hills.
Well, and East Walnut Hills, yeah. I suppose I've just offended half of the Walnut Hillsians. I was going to have a visual aid. It's not ready yet, but it looks like a crab. So I'm going to call it Sebastian. What I hope you took away from all that is that this district is basically all of the most progressive neighborhoods in town. And these neighborhoods all have very well-developed identities. And they have very strong community organizations. There's LULAC, there's the Faith Community Alliance, the Jewish Federation, the Urban League, and these neighborhoods all have really strong community councils. So they don't need a politician to come in and tell them who they are and what it is they want. They need a community organizer. They need someone who's going to serve as a bridge between them and Columbus, and between them and other communities in Cincinnati. So, as a representative, I'm going to go to these groups and I'm going to find out what it is that their communities need. And then I'm going to work with them to figure out how Ohio can give them what they need. And then I'm going to strategize with other representatives, because we're going to have to work with Republicans, so that Ohio can deliver them what they need. And if their needs are not met, we will form a coalition so that we can stand in solidarity and demand that those needs be met. So, the people in the 31st District are working hard to improve their communities, but they're not getting enough help from Ohio. And people aren't looking for handouts, they're looking for dignity. And what's dignity? It's self-worth. It's knowing that you're good at something. And it's also the freedom to be able to bestow that worth upon the world. And that's what government is here for, to provide the means to dignity. And Ohio is very well equipped for that. We can give people good public schools with good teachers. We have labor laws in place so that they can get a decent job, and they're not going to have to worry about losing that job based on their gender, or their ethnicity, or their nationality, or their sexuality. And we can give them public transportation so that they can get to and from that job, and they're not going to have to buy a car, and they're not going to have to spend $4 a gallon on gas. Of course, Kasich has cut all of that stuff. I guess he thought that we weren't going to notice. I guess he thought that we wouldn't care. But he and his administration and his party wasted no time immediately going after unions and going after social services and going after Planned Parenthood. Speaking of Planned Parenthood, I don't want to come off as a single-issue candidate, but it seems like the Republicans are a single-issue party, so I'm going to have to address something that affects more than half of the residents of the 31st District.
Right.
And it's why we need more pro-choice votes in the State House. We elected these guys. We sent them to Columbus so that they could create jobs, and in the first 6 weeks of the new administration, they introduced 7 bills banning abortions. And Planned Parenthood, in that time, we've gotten birth control covered with no out-of-pocket costs in all insurance plans. And that's going to change everything. Not only are young women going to eliminate one of their single biggest monthly expenses, but long-term contraception is going to be free. That's IUDs and that's Implanon. So what that means is that you're 18 years old, you're going to college, you get Implanon, and you know you're not going to get pregnant before you graduate. You're a first-time mother. You have the option of getting an IUD, and you don't have to worry until you're ready for your second child. 43%. The Guttmacher Institute just the other day put out a study saying 43% of unintended pregnancies are a result of contraceptive user error. That means that the condom broke, that means that you forgot to take a pill. Well, with long-term contraception, there is no user error. This means that thanks to President Obama, and thanks to Kathleen Sebelius, and thanks to Planned Parenthood, we can cut the unintended pregnancy rate in half. And that is how you cut abortions in half, not through bans. And so this brings me to the reason that I want to be in the State House. This is going to be the most important time for healthcare in our state's history. I want to be in the room when we're implementing the healthcare exchange. I want to be in the room when we're implementing the Medicaid expansion. I want to be in the room so that I can make sure that these plans are going to appeal to the 20-somethings that we need to have by them in order for the Affordable Care Act to work. I want to be in the room so I can make sure that the exchanges are easy to use and the coverage that they get is comprehensive and you understand the benefits and it saves money for the consumer and it saves money for the state. And I want to be in the room because I don't trust the Republicans to do that. So the Democrats are going to need to stand united on all policy fronts so that we can make a clear message to Ohio's voters when the Republicans fail to deliver on health care. Because as we saw with Issue 2, and as we saw in Mississippi with Initiative 26, when we make a clear, unified message to the voters, we will win. So please join me in the movement to steer Ohio toward a healthy, dignified future. Thank you.